Good morning. This is a site plan review committee meeting for June 4th, 2019. Committee members present today are Dana Brangiforti, our city assessor, Ben Cristoforo, building inspector, myself, Frank Stringy, city planner, Nick Rystrom, city engineer, and Deputy Fire Chief Paul Cheever, as well as Mark Locke, plumbing inspector. The first site plan today is 315 Park Ave. Come on up and have a seat.
Next to it, the little part in the front.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So what is your proposal?
We wanted to put a nail salon on 350 Park Ave. There'll be 6 girls working on a nail technician and 3 pedicure chairs.
What's presently there?
Right now it's empty. There's a
Fire.
used to be a little convenience
There
store.
was a convenience store. There was a fire in there 2 years ago.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
2 or 3 years
2 years ago.
I thought
This is the
Pretty
building
burned
on the
out.
corner of Park and Cambridge, is it?
It's the one right next to where Uncle Nino's used to be. It's a little
There's a
brick,
hair salon
little
right
brick
now.
building. Little
Hair
brick
salon
building.
and then an empty unit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
next
thought
to
they were doing
where,
some baking or something.
where
It's
the
vacant now, and I
Right.
think there used to be, yeah, the Moninos, they tore it down and they put like
Yeah,
two
so-
houses.
yeah, right next to,
Yeah.
right in
yeah,
front.
that was historically a retail.
Yeah, it's
It
retail.
was
Yep.
just a little.
Yep.
like
It was a
little
salon,
conven-
right?
Convenience
This
store.
Right.
salon there now,
Oh, yeah.
next door to,
Yep.
I think it's 317.
Yep.
right now.
Yep, just pull for, are you planning on doing any work?
We're gonna need to do some minor plumbing.
Okay, just pull permits and then you can proceed with occupancy,
Okay,
all right?
so just like file our business here in Revere.
Yep, you could do that. Yep, you could tell the clerk that you were up at site plan review and they said the use is allowed.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Okay?
And then just go down and see the plumbing inspector, see what we're gonna do.
Well, you'd have to pull it online. Your licensed plumber would have to pull it online.
Perfect.
Yep, and then you'd have then once that's completed, you can apply for an occupancy.
Okay,
Okay?
perfect. And then I think the fire system's already set up too, so.
Well, the fire department signs off on occupancy. If there's any issues, they can deal with it.
We'll look at it because where there was a fire there, I just want to make sure those permits to restore that.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect.
But we'll look at it during your,
Occupancy.
yeah, when you go for occupancy, we'll have a place. We'll meet you there, walking.
Okay, should be all set. All right.
Hello.
Thank you.
She's the owner, that's what it is.
82 Garfield Ave. Anybody here from 82? Uh, 461 Revere Beach Boulevard. Good morning. Hi.
Come on.
I don't know. These are,
Just a couple.
Why don't you just explain the proposal while you're here?
It stores you kind of certain
I
places.
have some in black and white.
Yeah. I like the color.
Like a vending machine.
There's two.
Okay, this is for a proposed 50-unit condominium at 461 Revere Beach Boulevard. Why don't you present the plan?
This is part of a process that's been going on for quite a while. Maybe you have seen different versions, but we are developing a system that's now being used in many developments in Boston and before that, many units in housing developments in California. It's called a puzzle system. It's a system of getting cars in and out of a three-phase system by a system that moves up and down and sideways, so that it's not a tandem parking thing, because someone just presses their number 201 or 301, and the car just arrives at the grade and they drive out.
I understand all that. Why don't you present for the audience what you're
So
proposing? How many parking
this allows
spaces,
us-
number of units?
Right, this allows us to put a total of 80 units in the puzzle system here, and then 2 more handicap units, spaces over here, and then 4 and 8 in the back, for a total of 90 parking spaces. And the 50 units that we're proposing, and there are 46 two-bedroom units, one bedroom unit, that's on the top left-hand side, and 3 three-bedroom units on the so-called 7th floor. They are totaling 50 units, and they require 88 spaces. So we are, with this proposal, 2 parking spaces above the requirement. As far as I can determine, the setbacks, the FAR, the height, all are within the code of this RC1 code. So I think that this, I believe as an architect in this initial concept, that this is a as-of-right project, and I'd be happy to have a conversation about how, what questions you might have.
Well, we did conduct a zoning review of the site plan, and it does conform to zoning with respect to setbacks, FAR, height, buffer zones, driveway widths, parking stall, aisles. The only question was the new conveyor system parking plan you have. And since we do not have a definition of tandem parking in our ordinance, our interpretation is that this is a tandem parking setup. So that's basically why you're here, to get the input from the board on this. And the building inspector and myself have reviewed this in great detail and have determined that the definition of tandem parking does not allow this type of parking system. So it would be our position to ask for a clarification from the ZBA on our interpretation for this use. So we would issue a letter to the applicant indicating that they go before the ZBA and get confirmation on the tandem parking issue. Okay, so it's as simple as that. But while you're here, we have the fire department, the city engineer, also here, as well as the building inspector. So any questions you may have, now's the time to present them.
Yeah, so I'm not familiar with the puzzle system parking. So if you're saying it's being used in California, other locations, I'd be very interested in seeing how the fire suppression system is integrated into the system, puzzle system. So if you...
There are existing systems in operation in the Fort Point Channel area right now, and this is a picture of one of them. Just you can scroll through these pictures and take a look at it for your own reference, and we can actually do more of that.
We were there yesterday to see it in person, the system, how the system works.
There's actually 2 videos in there that show how they can move side to side, up and down.
Would you mind someone forward those pictures and the videos to me?
Yeah, you bet. It might be.
Do you have that
I'll share.
detailed specification for the system that you provided?
We have...
I'm the factory rep with City Lift Parking Systems. So we're a national company. We've deployed these systems throughout multiple states in the country. There's specifications that are greater than these cut sheets.
This is Patrick Flaherty.
I'm Patrick Flaherty with City Lift Parking. So this system's in with NFPA. There's a NFPA guidelines for best practices for sprinkler head design implementation. There's a separate spec sheet that illustrates fire suppression, how to go about integrating it, and NFPA has some automated parking guidance for that, which we comply with.
Correct, which mostly I've seen with the scissor lifts and those type of things.
Yeah. So these systems, replace a legacy type of a stacker, which for years, if you ever saw the hydraulic stacker, these are the latest technology in terms of high performance parking automation for fully self-park functionality. And all motion of the system happens behind a closed safety gate, so there's never anything in motion with that gate open. So this is a whole different kind of a structure than, you know, Joe's Garage type of a stacker.
So is it, is it conveyed this way?
So there's traversing side to side, there's never a
Okay,
Ferris wheel
rotation.
rotation.
Yeah.
It's a traverse side to side on rails.
Yeah.
And vertical up and down.
Okay.
So these are 12-bay systems, but they hold 10 cars because 2 of the bays must remain free to get these cars to move side by side.
Got it.
10 cars in a 3-bay, 4-level system, 1 level below grade and 3 levels above. And
So the pallets or trays are presented at grade in the drive aisle. So the drive aisle meets zoning for two-way drive aisle ingress egress. A pallet or a tray that you drive onto is remote commanded from a fob. So you could be in the garage, you could be waiting for your car, or you could be in a module parking here, and I'm parking in this module, Benny's parking in this module. So we hit these throughput characteristics, so nobody's waiting for their car. And the whole, you know, definition of tandem, you know, National Parking Association defines tandem with a front to back configuration where you're impeded from getting out because I'm parking in front of you. This isn't that. This is an ingress egress to the system in every module. So you're never waiting. You're always having your car presented to you at grade.
the only time you're in the car is when you're at grade, backing out, and the average distance of these systems to a garage is about 40 feet. So if a car is driving 40 feet inside the system on average, it's cuts down on pollution. And
Where are they in town right now?
Jesus, 25 or so under contractor installed here in New England. So we're in Boston. We're a Commonwealth certified elevator integrator. So in the state, you know, Mass Elevator inspects, and we're recognized by those guys pulling permits for the last 2 years. South Boston, East Boston, Lynn, Brighton, Alston.
You have,
These systems
In
are
Lynn?
installed in all,
where in Lynn?
Monroe Street, Lynn, the Procopio Development Project.
It's already installed.
The steel is delivered.
so that obviously, things that can go wrong. And so there's backup systems for it. There's regular inspections. There's an annual upgrade to a major inspection of each system.
Is that by the state?
Elevator inspects
So it
annually,
falls
like
under-
they inspect an
Yeah.
elevator, per people elevator.
Okay, so it falls on the scale.
As you know, in a parking system, 20.25% of 25 cars per unit is that thing for visitors. So if something were to happen and we had to close down one total system, it'd be possible to move those cars out of that system and still park them, most likely into the system while this is being looked at. And then there's Uber and Lyft if everything goes terribly wrong, that this is part of the contract. So,
Meaning in this service agreement that, you know, this is built with multiple modules. There's 7 modules. Those are like 7 independent systems. So if there was eight, sorry.
Yep.
So each with their own separately fused breaker, each with their own PLC controller. So if one had a service issue, all the other 7 could, you know, still be operable. The mean time to failure in these things is you know, incredibly low. They're just super high efficient. We're a U.S. company. All the components are UL listed. These are not an imported, you know, Asian product that some of the automated parking in the States is not a UL listed. They have to get third-party UL listing. We're not that company. We're California-based. We're seismic rated. We're UL listed. We're ETL certified. Every component has passed all of those throughout the last 5 years. So we guarantee, what John was saying is we guarantee if there's a service issue, the Uber or Lyft is on us, that if there was an inability to get your car out due to
the other
power
advantage,
failure or a
I'm sorry,
service
keep interrupting, sorry. The other advantage is that this system allows a grade in this building to be, as you can see, 12.6 and a 10.6 in the back. it doesn't, we don't have a lower grade of parking and an upper grade above. There's no ramps, and we can keep this building and the elevators that serve the building to that higher level in case of, you know, water from two different directions coming into the building. And obviously, this system allows the first floor of the residential building to be 33 feet, I believe it is, above the 33'6" above sea level, which is the median sea level. So it's pretty high safety thing for it, no matter what happens. Obviously, if this were on the Western Pacific, tsunamis would take that out, but there's no tsunami structure out there in the Atlantic to do that, so.
Okay, so all the parking spaces in which the system is being used is above the 100-year flood elevation.
So so basically the parking level is basically 20 feet. The parking level is basically 20 feet high.
Yes.
So I'm looking at lobby elevation of 13.3, and you gave me a floor elevation of 33.6 for first floor. So it's about 20 feet. Okay. I'm just trying to, in my mind, justify, you know, two-level parking. How does this help you with the parking in terms of efficiency and cost with the building? So you're saying 8 cars per one?
10 cars.
10 cars.
10, but you leave 2 open. So there's
It's 12.
Three-bay system with 4 levels, 12 total spaces, of which we have 10 spaces that are
Got it.
filled.
10,
So
20,
it's 8
30,
times 10 is
50, 60,
80.
70, 80.
And the 2 handicap spaces in the front, and the 8 in the back, up to 90.
Okay.
Is there a limitation of what type of vehicles this can hold? Can we accept 350
You can spec,
SUVs?
you can spec, we have the, yes, there's a pallet or tray that you drive onto.
Yeah.
These are all the extra large, so they handle all compact, midsize, and SUV. They won't handle like a Hummer 2 type of vehicle or, dually trucks.
Yeah.
But they handle 90% of the vehicles out there.
And we discovered they won't handle roof racks. The roof racks are not, in the proper, height. So those things have to be stressed with the condo owners to.
Well, you could have the height for a roof rack, but, an owner would need to be mindful of perhaps not having their bike, on the roof or something when you drive into the system.
Well, with any garage.
Yeah,
That's
any
the
garage,
issue.
exactly.
Well, minimum height is 7 feet within garages, and
The lower level is 7 feet high. That's what gives you the 33. We raised up the system to allow a 7-foot clearance on the grade when you come in.
Frank, what's the 7 feet?
all parking, garage structure. That was one of our concerns when reviewing whether these forms.
Was the 7 feet actually the clear height from floor to ceiling for the garage?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, because the garage itself exceeds that, but what we were expecting is the first level of what you walk under.
It's 7 feet.
You park your car on that pallet or tray, and the tray above is 7 feet. Because I can make that whatever I need to. When we heard 7 feet, I told them
7
we
foot
can make that
clearance.
7 feet.
Yeah.
Of course, the garage clear height is exceeding what's in zoning, right?
Right, yes. So your puzzle's gonna be 3 cars high?
3 from grade up, 3, and then one in the pit below. So
There's
it's
a
4
minus
levels
1.
altogether.
Also, this goes below grade.
Yeah,
I was trying
you
to
can-
figure it
you can
The
excavate.
math wasn't working for me.
And
So
is
it's
that-
gonna go down and up.
It goes down and up, so you excavate just under the pallets for 3 cars under.
Where
No, this would be the grade,
And
no.
we'll have
the
three
pit,
above.
it basically gets you
So
down
really,
to
a 4
6 feet.
Existing level.
So that's already the grade in the back, so we would
And
be
there's 4 or 5 of
infilling
those installed
to
in
raise
this
this
area
floor
that are
level
using
of
that
the
pit.
building around the
This
pit.
is line.
Do you know a couple?
We're not doing a lot of excavating.
Do you know a couple you could tell me?
Here,
'Cause I was
this would be
looking at it.
excavated somewhat, but not much.
5 or 10 if you want to.
I guess I'm gonna tell you. But
front.
my question is the system as it stands, wherever the other grade may be, is there below grade? Is the elevator, does that platform drop below grade?
No.
It doesn't, right? Everything's at grade? Okay. And it just goes up 3 levels? Well, grade, then 2 levels above?
And then
Grade and full level.
Yeah.
Does the system goes one level below?
At grade, at grade.
Wait a minute. This is graded to 6'6".
Yeah.
Using up old
Not
cars.
12'6". There's a pit that's down to 6 feet. 6 foot grade.
But we're at 6 here in the back, so we're not excavating.
Not here, but here it's a little higher.
Okay, yeah. And then, so are these suspended on cables or how?
They're a chain, they're a real high-end, high-gauge chain.
I suggest you gentlemen
Oh, I
look at
didn't see the
those.
video, you
Look
didn't
at
pull the
those,
videos,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
mean, they were
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah,
I was suspicious too, before I saw them
Yeah.
yesterday.
There's a lot, here in Boston, there's Walker Consulting and Desmond, they're long-term since the 60s, parking analytic and consulting engineering. They've vetted out parking solutions for the last 5 years, and on their website, you can, automated parking technology, what does it mean today? And then there's some, comparisons of the legacy type of solutions. So, in terms of how quiet are they, there's decibel rating factors, there's all the Rankine ratings of these things. So there's no extraordinary insulation required for, noise, because they're super quiet electric motors. They're not hydraulic, they're not prone to, service issues. And they're very swift, very expeditious in terms of retrieving your car.
Okay, so,
The other option is that this is something they look at and see how it works. Because you have a 1 mile long RC1 zone that anchored by its parking restrictions. So if this is something that would work, and work on the project as well, it would be a nice way of providing what the RC1 seems to have as a whole.
Everything from outside too.
I just want to clarify one thing on the facade of the structure. Now, the lobby area encroaches within the front yard, which you are allowed to, it cannot be any higher than 20 feet. You have that, and at least 65% of that facade has to be glass.
It's all glass.
So it's all glass. I want to bring that to your attention. Obviously, you've got the zoning, you incorporate that into the design.
We're keeping the curves on both sides of the building.
Okay, are there any other questions?
And this is just zoning related, we're not at the point where we're talking
That's
about.
correct. Yeah, this is we're at the point of clarification between the parking issue.
So when you say potential mezzanine level, can you explain what you're looking at there?
When we lift up this thing to 33.6, between these puzzle systems, you have an opportunity to put a mezzanine floor between the systems.
Gotcha.
And this allows us to put mechanicals, storage, other kind of things above this flood problem. So it's really an opportunity. We also have
Innovative.
proposed an exercise room on that corner above the 1 floor height of the handicap spaces of the trash room would be only 1 height, so that would be an actual occupied space.
I have a question. You're gonna have to have a gas oil separator. You're gonna need a gas oil separator in the garage area.
You could speak up if
I'm sorry, I stuck stuff. I'm getting old.
Gas oil separator. in the
Gas oil
garage.
separator in the garage area. So when you're stacking these cars, what if a car has an oil leak?
These systems have, these systems do have drain.
Yeah, each pallet or tray has a gutter built into the side. So you're capturing anything, whether it's snow or ice or rain runoff, but if there was an oil leak, it would capture that as well.
So a maintenance person cleans it every day or checks it every day?
Yeah, that varies, by property. An HOA in a lot of our properties where systems are integrated, the HOA has, maintenance just like they would, have maintenance for any other mechanical. So if there's a property manager on site or there's a property manager on call, that would be
So
something you could
when
maintain.
the separator is sized, generally it's sized for the area of the garage floor. Would the cars being stacked have any bearing on the size of the separator?
I would imagine it would be, we have to, these are design concept drawings, but definitely all that has to be incorporated into our building plans and design development and construction documents. You can actually see this gutter, a piece of the gutter on this also. There's a gutter on each side of that track tray. Now, you can't really see, it allows and actually the system itself is slightly pitched to the back.
So most systems, are installed with, there's a drainage system in your garage, there's an oil separator system spec'd on how many cars, as I understand it. Under a pit level system, there'd be drainage connected to your central drainage for, any kind of water drainage, which you would do anyway in a garage, a traditional garage. And then if there's a really an overly bad leak in a car, you would have some maintenance attend to it. It's kind of out of our wheelhouse.
So, but the leak can't affect the car below.
It can't affect the car below.
It's
nor
a
can
solid
ice or
floor,
salt.
it's not like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no drainage in these pits.
So-
There's nothing, so these are just solid pits, so anything that comes off this rack system
Yeah.
is gonna go into that.
It would
pit.
go into that gutter, and from that gutter, it would drain back and it would hit the concrete. Just like if a car had an oil leak on a regular surface spot, it would address it. But it wouldn't immediately drop on the windshield, it would come to the sides, it would drop off to the back of the system onto the concrete.
But
So
worst case, this is all dropping down into the pit.
it's dropping down into the pit,
So now this system.
hitting a surface that you could do a cleanup on.
Right, so it's gonna be collected in the pit versus going into a drainage system, into a oil water separator. So over time, in winter, these cars are covered in snow, going into these, they're all draining down, everyone's melting down.
Yeah, but the oil
pit.
should drain into the separator, really.
So this is a little right there.
The other thing is, there are motors in the pits. We do have a potential flooding problem, as you all know, and if water does get into the pits in a storm, storms are somewhat predictable, and these motors are demountable, and we can take them up, put them in the mezzanine thing during a storm that's predicting a flood. So the maintenance is fairly.
So that doesn't bother me, what question that raises for me is that, all right, you can take the motors out of the pits so you don't lose the motors. Well, what do you do with the cars that are normally stored in the pit during a storm event? Do you leave them in the pit and hope for the best, or do you take them out and where you park them?
Exactly. That's a good question. Depending upon the idea of a storm, we have 10 spaces, 9 cars can fit in the upper spaces. So the other 3, not 9 cars, 6 cars, I'm sorry, 6 cars in the upper spaces. The other 4 would have to be relocated.
So not my purview, but my comment would be on this would be, sounds like you need to deal with where we're in a floodplain. Normally, if you weren't, you didn't have those issues, sounds like you need to come up with a way of dealing with these pits and still deal with it. Oil water separator, be able to pump them out, drain them.
Yeah, it's common with drainage and sump pumps in most of our sites, unless it's a real high water table. But a sump pump and a drainage is pretty standard practice. But a storm, to get ahead of a potential 100-year storm, I mean, like anything, you're going to take actions to, move cars out of the way. And
We're actually talking about a 5-year storm potentially.
Well, in the area where you are right now, we have some issues.
Right.
So,
Yep.
Okay, we have to move this thing along, so your next step will be a letter you'll receive, which will send you before the ZBA. Once the ZBA confirms and clarifies the tandem parking issue, and okays that, we'll see you back here with advanced engineering plans and site plans and architectural plans, and we'll proceed from there. Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
God, if you could send me some locations.
Yeah, do you want me to give you an email and reach out? Yeah, I'm heading out of town for tomorrow for the rest of the week, but next week.
Can you email the video? Sure.
Yeah, you guys can keep all this stuff.
I'll call you.
I think I have one of these. Let's leave that here.
Thank you.
Take everything. Okay, we have some people in the audience who are not on the agenda. Can I have you come up one at a time? You first, sir. Well, take that mic, please. 345 Broadway.
This is the sign.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is an unpermitted sign. We have a side ordinance for Broadway. Yeah. That does not meet the intent. No permit was ever pulled.
Yeah, I will talk with the customer. I'm the sign guy. I'm
Yeah.
talking with the customer. I say, I have all the permits and everything, so that's where we start. But when
Yeah.
they call me later and say, the next day, so we start on Friday,
Yeah.
Monday we come and apply for the permit.
So we do have a sign program for
Yeah,
Broadway.
I know that.
So I would suggest that the owner take advantage of that. And we could, that pays for the new sign. And you can meet with our people up in community development and they can approve a sign, redesign. And nothing like this though.
I know. No, I sent the plan. I sent the same plan for the owner. They said, I have everything ready, so that's why we go to install the sign. But that's my fault because I don't check everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
Understood. So have the owner come to the community development office. I believe he has already, but and if you're his sign design man, come up. You also come up and work with the
actually,
department.
when I make the design for the sign, I make something totally different because I know
Our standards are quite different than that. The Broadway.
just
area.
just simple signs.
Yeah.
So another question. I want to put down the sign. So because that's the right.
Yeah.
The right way. So can I remove the sticker they have on the door?
You can, once the sign's down, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
So when is the
And meet with Mr. John Festa.
John Festa?
Yeah. The owner of the property knows this.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll set you up with the program. Okay. Okay. Sir, why don't you come on up?
Because for my company at 82 Garfield Island, I would like to modify an existing structure, build an addition to.
Oh, 82 Garfield.
Are you 82 Garfield?
Yes.
All right.
So essentially, I would like to change the current layout of the house. The way the house is, it's a two-family. The bottom floor it's a year long. The top floor is shorter than the bottom floor. So by building an addition to my building structure, it's actually square the building and add 2 bedrooms to the house.
Get a hip roof.
Is that what you mean? It's just a bit of a section in the back of the house.
So you want to square off the back?
Yeah, square of the back of the
That
house.
1 story, put in a 2-story
Front
addition.
as well?
Yeah, it would be 1 floor. It wouldn't be 2 floors. Oh, yeah. Just when you see the chimney.
So,
See here where you see the chimney.
Yeah.
You see the chimney?
Right
But you move the chimney and then build the addition on that space there to just square of the house itself.
That would be a flat roof?
Would be the same roof that I have also be pitched. The idea was to keep the exact shape of the house all the way down. So there's a slight pitch to the roof. Right now it's a flat roof, that section. But the idea would be to literally match what's existing.
so it's gonna be a gable then? He's gonna probably put a gable in. So you're talking right here? That chimney right there? You
Yes.
wanna extend this over to there?
Oh, exactly. and continue with the same pitch?
Yeah,
It'll be
same height, you're not increasing the height.
No, no.
You're just moving, you're moving the, it's.
The wall up.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving the wall out, which would include redoing the bathroom, because the bathroom is in the house.
So what's the current use of the house?
Two-family.
Two-family, it is a two-family, okay.
Benny, look at the basement plan.
And this would just be for bedrooms?
Yes.
See that no foundation?
Two bedrooms,
I didn't see it. Sorry, what's that?
please. Two bedrooms.
You're just doing work over the existing structure,
Yeah, that's the idea.
not extending anything along the down the wall.
So he's basically, yeah, okay, so he is showing that. I'm looking at it.
It's currently one bedroom upstairs.
Yeah,
One bedroom with
So he is at 40.
office, and so the last tenant was using as a key bedroom.
Sorry. Take that.
You don't let me fit in.
You adding a deck to the back here?
So the wood, oh, actually, yes, that is true. There would be a deck allowing access to
This car.
go up and down.
So it's just a landing for stairs?
Yes, not building, not how, just the, I would have to build a land away, like,
Yeah.
such that
Crawl
we can
space.
access.
Crawl
Because right now, the
It
land
might
is
not be shown on the plan.
in the
Yeah.
Because this is
rear
called,
corner of the house,
this
where
is
you can't even
crawl
access
space.
that property.
Could be. We'll get in the plan if you want.
Yeah, straight building permit.
Yeah, straight
No
building.
site plan review required.
Nope. Send it down.
Okay, everything has been uploaded to the e-permitting system? Okay.
So I don't need the zoning.
You don't need a site plan review letter, no, you would just get a building permit.
So now you have to apply online for a building permit, okay?
Okay,
Is this your principal residence?
No, this is not.
Okay, you're gonna have to get a licensed contractor to apply online for the building permit.
Thank you very much.
okay. Next, want to come on up?
Morning, gentlemen. This is for 37 Atwood Street. I was here before, and you asked me to come back with drawings for the home. Yeah, 37 Atwood. I think the street was renumbered, so in some records it shows 31. But I did upload everything as you asked.
Okay, what are you proposing?
Just a bedroom addition.
Rear?
Yes, rear, second floor, so it's just building on the existing structure.
Same thing, just going over the,
Pretty much.
yeah, right there. So it's gonna be not as high as the existing house, lower?
Their goal is to tie the roof right into the existing.
That's not what this shows, though.
Supposed to tie the roof line in.
Yeah, this will be a higher peak, yeah, like that.
I'll show this. Okay, so what he's gonna do, it's gonna be slid over.
Yeah.
So you're gonna keep the same pitch.
Yeah.
It won't be any higher, but you're tying to the existing roof line,
Yeah.
yeah? Okay, all right.
And we'll,
It's in the back, right?
Yes.
Yes.
and this is for a bedroom and a bathroom?
Yes,
Okay.
and the plot plan is there as well.
Again, no site plan review required in this.
So you can just apply online, is this your principal residence?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you can apply online for building permit
This is roof.
as a homeowner.
Okay, great. I do have a licensed contractor who's gonna be doing it, so can he pull
He,
from?
he absolutely can, yes, I suggest, if that's how you're gonna do it contractually, he should be the one pulling the permit.
Okay, I'll do that.
You might want, if you're saying he's matching the roof line, you might want to update the drawings first.
No,
Okay.
Paul, I think they're matching the roof lines, it's full, they.
On that one side.
Yeah, that one side, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. That's what it looks like, yeah.
yeah,
It's confirming drawings are correct before you.
yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Next?
Just that one.
how the process goes. I'm just starting it.
Okay, what's the address?
488 Fountain Ave. And Revere.
And what are you proposing to do?
Well, the house was built with, can't say the word, an apartment, but the lower level apartment. Now we want to bring the house and apartment up to code. Contacted an electrician, electrical contractor, who's in the process of looking at the code, putting together a cost proposal, what we need to do. And I contacted plumber, compressor plumber. He unfortunately contacted him just before he was going on vacation. Just came back, so we hope to hook up this week. And then he would put together, look at the code, see what we would need to do, and then present a proposal to us. And I guess then the next thing is they would continue to work.
Well, the first question is zoning. It's a two-family presently with a legal little apartment downstairs. How have you been assessed? Have you been assessed as a two-family?
Two-family.
So how many kitchens in the house?
Pardon?
How many kitchens?
It's 2 kitchens, 2 baths.
And has it been assessed for more than 10 years?
I think it was built in 74 by my parents. And my brother lived downstairs. He passed. He had people living upstairs.
Is it a three-family?
It's a,
Pardon?
no,
Is it a
there's,
three?
no, there's two. There's only two.
I thought you said there was 2 units and one in the basement.
No.
One of
No,
them.
no, the one of them, there's 2 units total. Right.
Sir, what year did you say it was built?
There's the main part of it.
74.
And then my in-law apartment downstairs, which is a one-bedroom. And that's where my brother lived until he passed.
So,
That's the second one.
sir, Mike, have you ever searched the archives of the building department? Have you requested a search of the archives?
No.
That's your first step. Go over to the building department. Let's determine what the legal use is. So I'd go over to the building department and proceed with requesting a search of the archives.
Okay.
And let's see what you have for documentation on the building department's end. Okay, and then you leave your contact information, then from there we'll contact you.
Okay.
All right?
So my father was over in the
It leaves your
DFW.
building. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay?
That's it?
That's it? No. Okay, good luck.
Hello.
Frank gets that look on his face like, oh, yeah. So you requested an updated design plan. I can't upload this because I don't have, I mean, I can take it to work later, but right now.
What's the address again?
450 Revere Boulevard, I'm sorry.
So what do we do? Just renovating the existing, correct?
But I have the ZBA approval to make that a two-family, so I'm actually adding a kitchen and a shower.
So it was already, was it only one?
Yeah.
Oh, it was only one,
Yeah,
okay,
it's only one.
okay.
So we asked for a certified plot plan to show the parking. And there's a garage under, correct?
Correct.
One space and the space in front of the garage, and you have 2 spaces on the side.
So are you raising the whole structure or no? Did you, do you have your order conditions from conservation?
Yeah, but that was when I was gonna tear the house down. It's down, it's just a remodel. I'm not gonna fall in that range where I have to
Well,
bring it.
the problem now is that you're a substantial renovation.
It's really not that substantial. I'm adding a kitchen, and there's already a half bath, which I'm gonna turn into a full bath by adding a shower, or a 3/4 bath by adding a shower. So I should be able to do that within my, I think, $50,000.
All right, just submit your permit, we'll analyze
Your
the
floor
numbers.
plans and, yeah.
Yeah.
up-
The plan, keeping the long-term plan for this house is in the next 10 years, it'll be torn down. Go crazy.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so just apply for a building permit for that conversion. And you need sign off again from the fire department.
They actually
Total
have
floor
done
plan.
that.
They have
This is
signed
their,
off.
these are their little, and that was the lieutenant, and she,
So 2 one-bedroom apartments.
yeah, exactly, yeah. commission wants this most.
Okay. All right.
Need one signed first.
Need one of these?
And then will you be able to upload that into the file? But right now, there's no
Yes, she
copy
needs
of that because my printer is just my scanner is just a letter size.
Do you want to keep this and show this as a
Yeah, I can do that.
Take a picture of that?
Yeah. Do you need a copy of this, Frank?
I don't need it.
I'll take it.
No second on these.
Thank you.
And then, how does it work when everything's finished to get it to be all?
So what you'll do is you submit an application for a conversion to a two-family. We need a copy of your recorded variance. We'll need a copy of your plans. And then we'll issue the building permit, you complete the work, then you'll have to then apply for occupancy.
Okay, so I have a 6-month extension, which I think is from the original expiration.
So once you pull your building permit, that activates the variance, yeah?
Okay, great. So then I don't have to worry about
No.
hurry up and finishing
No,
everything.
but you do have 6 months to start the work.
Oh, okay,
for the
yeah, that's fine.
building permit.
Well, the variance really wouldn't kick in here because she's not doing anything to the variance was for tearing down the existing house and building a new two-family
Oh, I
on
thought
a
you
new
said the
foundation.
variance was for the parking. I thought you went back to a new variance.
I just wanted to get an extension, and basically it's to turn a single into a two.
You wouldn't need that because the use, that's an allowed use within this district, as long as you're not changing the footprint of the structure.
But does the parking meet the requirements?
Yeah, parking is.
So I never needed to go before the ZBA.
So, no, well, but you proposed a number of things, a few things.
Originally.
But originally, I think the variance was
The one that
were
was
you not
granted.
orientated it different?
It was
No,
on,
it
it
was
was
always
that,
gonna be on the same footprint.
oh, it was on,
The two-family was always gonna be on the
oh,
same
okay,
footprint.
in that case, yeah, the variance is still active.
So, I'll send over the variance and I
Yeah,
can take a look.
because that covers everything.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
All right?
Thanks very
All
much.
right.
Have
Very
a
good.
great day, everyone.
Okay, that concludes the site plan review committee meeting for June 4th, 2019.